It's truly a pleasure to be here today. As you know, I play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm in my 13th year of being with the Steelers. I was actually born in Pittsburgh, and I've loved this city since I was born. My grandparents were both teachers here. My mom's from Pittsburgh as well. My dad played at the University of Pitt. He had a long, illustrious career. He played 11 years in the NFL. My dad had to stop playing football in 1999 because he had a tumor. He had lost sight in his right eye, and we thought that was the end of it. Years later, I'm in high school. We found out the tumor had came back, and it was a wake-up call. He had struggled with a stroke, became paralyzed on his right side, and wasn't able to talk. He was working to walk for my senior night. In the summer before my senior year, he ended up passing away when I was away at a basketball camp. My mom had to be the one who had to tell me. It was hard for her to share that with me, but I understood the strength she showed. All during this time, I was deciding where I was gonna go in college to play football, thinking my dad was gonna be the biggest resource for me in choosing a college. Not having that, my mom stepped up in that moment. I like to think she was like my agent. I like to feel like she knew more about where I was going than I knew I was going. She was asking coaches, do you run a 3-4? Do you run a 4-3? You know, how many D tackles do you have? Where do you see my son going? And I appreciate her for that. She made my decision easy. I went to Ohio State, graduated in 4 years. I met my wife the first day at Ohio State, and then I'll take you to senior year. I want to get drafted. I want to go play at the next level. Draft night shows up, and that night I get drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've always thought to myself, God and Dad have been working to map out my life. I come back to Pittsburgh. Come on! I get to hear stories about my dad, how he was involved in the community, how he would go to Children's Hospital. My dad has a legacy, and now I want to continue to expand it. And that's what my foundation has been about.
Do you still get sad about your dad, and how do you deal with it?
I do still get sad. As much as I get sad, I'm happy for the moments. And the more I share, I tell people about how much I miss him, how much I would love doing certain things. Having a son of my own, I try to use those opportunities to share with him or do things I did with my dad.
How much did you like playing football after like your dad died and everything?
I think my love for football has grown because I think it's something that me and my dad will always share. In those eerie moments of question in my life, I always felt like my dad was still there. Last year, we were in Atlanta, and that's where he's buried. And me and my little brother Connor, before the game, went to go see him. After talking to him, we get ready for the game. You know, it's like a homecoming. We have all of our friends and family there. I get a sack on one play, and I'm super excited. Next series, I kid you not, my little brother scores his first touchdown in the NFL. And that's not even the eerie thing about it. He scored this exact same way my dad scored. And so having those moments in my life where I got to see those things line up like that have just made football mean more to me. And it's meant so much to share these moments and to share these stories about how close football and my family is.
If you could talk to your dad one last time, what would you tell him?
I would tell him I love him. I would say thank you for the moments I did get. And I would say we all miss you. There's not a day that goes by that we don't miss you. And that we're going to continue to just try to make you proud.